Hi guys, I thought I'd film on a whim while things are going on in my head today. I was actually going to take some pictures outside, some blog pictures, but of course it's raining, so I thought let's keep the momentum with the motivation and just sit down and film something. And today I thought I'd talk about a realisation I had. What night was it? Was that the Bring Me the Horizon night? When did I go and see them? The 5th. I don't know, was that the Friday? That was Saturday, that was it, Saturday. I was at the after party, I was having a chat with someone, and it's just the way I am. I always tend to get a little bit deep because I end up interviewing people. It's really annoying. I have this habit of getting into an interview type conversation rather than just doing what you should do at parties, which is that kind of surface chat, that just pointless chit chat and laughter. I end up getting quite deep. And I ended up talking to my friend, and during that conversation I had a bit of like a eureka moment. Although I didn't realise it at the time, it wasn't like a aha as such, but over the last few days, that combined with some other thoughts has made me really think about something that I do and an aspect of my personality that I have. So basically I was just explaining to him how I don't tend to go to after parties. I tend to just opt out and head home because I'm much more comfortable in an environment with just like a select group of my close friends, people that I'm truly comfortable with, and situations like after parties and like networking events and things like that. There's just so much possibility for me to embarrass myself or do an awkward greeting, hug them wrong, you know, do all those sorts of things that, you know, make you go ugh, and shudder and you think about for ages and replay. And he was just saying that, you know, he doesn't care what people think, and that he doesn't care if people hate him, and I was saying I care too much, basically. I really care what people think. And then later on we were talking about some more stuff, and he said something like, I don't care if I embarrass myself, and then I said something like, oh, me neither. I mean, just look at my tweets and stuff. And he pointed out that earlier you said you don't do some social situations because you're worried you're going to embarrass yourself. So, you know, which is that there's some inconsistency here, and we realised together that I don't mind like embarrassing myself or revealing embarrassing aspects about my life or things that I do, like mishaps, insecurities, vulnerabilities, as long as it's kind of controlled by me and, you know, I decide what I put out there and how I put it out there. And that got me thinking, like, I always think of myself as, you know, a YouTuber and blogger that is, I don't know, really like quite open and honest, almost brutally honest, and to the point of oversharing at times. But I've realised, even though I do that, I'm still only putting out there what I'm comfortable to put out there. I'm only saying things that I want to put out there or want to say. And the fact of the matter is, I do really care what people think about me, and it might not seem like I'm holding much back, but I really am. I'm holding a lot back. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I don't put in the honest vlogs that I choose to keep to myself. And I don't really know where I'm going. I didn't plan this at all. I really wanted it to be kind of just out of my mouth as it comes, but I'm still trying to work out what it all means. I didn't really tell the story right at all either. I mucked that up, but hopefully you get the gist of what I was saying. But so along with his kind of pointing out that I am someone that cares too much about what people think, and he asked me like, why do I care? And I've been mulling that over the last few days. And then also my friend, in her videos recently, she's been talking about, you know, listening to your gut and listening to, you know, what it's trying to tell you about what you want from life and the path that you should be following. And I think those things combined have made me, I don't know, have a sort of shift. And it wasn't like a lightning bolt thing. It's like a dimmer switch has just gone up a little bit each day over the last few days, and I'm starting to feel a little bit more inspired and motivated, because not only am I understanding myself a bit more, I'm finding things exciting because I've realised that maybe I shouldn't care so much. For instance, if you follow me on social media, you will have seen that I've decided that I want to do more photography because I really enjoy it. Not just the process of, you know, it forces me to leave the house and be around nature and appreciate nature, because you're focusing on that and nothing else. Nothing else is clouding your concentration. It's almost like a mindfulness thing for me, photography, because I'm totally in that zone when I'm doing it. So that's a positive thing as well. But also I'm getting the fresh air, so you get kind of some mental clarity as well. Also, I enjoy, you know, seeing the compositions and working out how I want to frame things and using the light and manipulating it and creating interesting shafts and shadows and things like that. Shafts. I also like working with colour. I like how, you know, depth of field changes everything and how you can get cool blurred shapes over, you know, really crystal clear images. I love all of that, and then I love the editing process afterwards as well. But I've never pursued photography in kind of a really focused manner, or thought that maybe I should explore it as a potential another dimension to what I want to do with my career, because I've never had really that good equipment. Like the camera I do have was one that I was gifted as a PR gift, but I can't like afford amazing cameras, and I can't get all the lenses that are so expensive, so I have limitations. But then when I think about the images I love, not all of them are on really like expensive cameras that cost hundreds of pounds or in amazing locations even. Some of them are very simple. Perhaps they're on Polaroid, perhaps they're on iPhones, or even, you know, old school phones. Perhaps they're on disposable cameras. But if the composition works and if it makes me feel something, perhaps there's really good kinetic energy in it, like emotion, perhaps you can feel something coming through the person's eyes if it's a portrait, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to stop using the fact that I don't have a good camera as an excuse. That's number one. But I think I use that as an excuse because I thought that professional photographers would look at me and my little tiny camera and think, who does she think she is, thinking she could be a photographer, or that she can photograph the events we photograph, or even be in our world? Who does she bloody think she is? Maybe I thought that they would think that I'm not taking that art form seriously, that I think that anyone can do it, when I know that it's a skilled thing and, you know, it takes practice and a keen eye and that sort of stuff. I think perhaps I was also hindered by worrying what people would think of my shots, whether they think I was crap or whether they weren't good enough or not worthy of being shown. I guess whenever we try something new or try to push a new area of our life, we are worried about failure. But I figure if anything gives you that much joy and pleasure and you just enjoy the process, then you've got to try and do as much of that as possible. You've got to make it regular, because if you're injecting that little bit of happiness into your life each day or every few days, then that can only be a positive thing. But let me get back to my main point. Oh, I've waffled, you see, that shows I'm passionate. Yeah, I realised I care too much what people think. That was preventing me trying this photography thing, even though I've known for a while from my holidays and from taking my blog pictures that I really do enjoy doing that. But I feel like it's hindered me in a lot of the work that I've done, and also just being the person that I believe I should be. For instance, for a while I would not post, you know, outfit post type pictures. I wouldn't put pictures of me on Instagram, you know, posy, bloggy ones, because I was so embarrassed what people would think. Particularly my music industry friends, who are from a very different world to my blogging friend, and they have different ideas of what is cool, I guess. And I know some of them aren't that into the whole concept of bloggers and YouTubers too, and so I didn't want them to judge me in a way, because that was the world that I'd been in for longer than I had been the blogging world, and just combining those two was kind of scary for me. And the things that would go into my head whenever I thought about posting an image, or like considered the idea of posting, you know, posy images of me, is One, I thought they'd be like, who does she think she is? Does she think she's like, is she trying to be a model or something? I didn't want them to think that I thought that about myself, that I thought I was good enough to be posing and attempting these kind of modelly poses, because I know I'm no model, I know I'm no oil painting. But then at the same time, shouldn't I be thinking they should be encouraging of this sort of thing, because it's better if people could be confident and comfortable in their body. But that didn't cross my mind. All I thought was that they were going to be negative and judge me for it. I also thought that maybe people would laugh because I looked awkward in the shots. I thought that they would judge me for taking it so seriously and trying to do the sultry, moody shots. I also didn't want them to think that I was vain. Not only that, you know, I was posing and doing all this stuff, that I was putting so much emphasis on, you know, appearance and looks and fashion and style and frivolous stuff that is about, you know, the outer shell. I didn't want people to think that about me either. I worried about the quality of the images, whether people would judge me for that, because I knew that, you know, some of the settings I had to shoot in or were forced to shoot in weren't the most, you know, cinematic. So yeah, for a while I wouldn't post pictures like that, and I really think that that held my blog back, because since I've been doing it and since I have been forcing myself to post more pictures of my face and of my clothes and of my fashion, you know, things have moved a bit quicker. Not as quick as I like mine, but they have moved a little bit quicker, because people do like to see clothes and fashion, and they do like to see people. Like, I know I'm more likely to like an Instagram picture if someone's face or them are in it rather than just a landscape. I don't know, it's just, there's something more interesting about it, I guess. And I think with my presenting, my nerves have taken over so many times. I feel anxious every time I do an interview, and the thought of people being critical of my interviews, of the bands I interview not thinking I'm cool or not enjoying talking to me, has held me back with that as well. And you know, I've gone for some really important screen tests, like at MTV for instance, and I fudge it up because I doubt myself, and I presume what people are going to think about me. Like, I presume that they would think that I'm not cool enough for MTV or pretty enough for MTV or young enough for MTV, and I didn't get the job, so maybe all of those were correct. But I think more often than not, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy that I tell myself that people are thinking these things about me, and the result that I think I would have because of that happens, and it's purely because of my change in behaviour, because I have those thoughts in my head. And over the last few years, I've turned down a lot of opportunities due to fear and due to worrying what people will think about me if I do the job. And perhaps if I don't do it to the best of my ability. I don't know how long this video is again. How do I do it? But what I've realised more and more this year is, you know, when you're old or when you're at the end of your life, what is more likely? Ask yourself this. Are you going to ask yourself whether you regret, I don't know, in my case, posting that Instagram where I was a little bit posy? Or am I going to regret that I didn't push my blog as hard as I could by posting the images that I knew were going to do well, or be popular, or really enhance what I was doing as a blogger? If I think about it logically, if anyone was to judge any of my photography pictures or my bloggy pictures, they either don't know me well enough to know me and my heart and what I'm about, so really I shouldn't worry about what they think, but the likelihood is they will want me to do well and they will want to support me, and if they don't, then I can't do much about that. All I'm asking is, if you're like me and you think that you overthink things and you worry about what people think, try and consider, you know, when you are older, whether you'll look back on your life and think they were right, I should have worried about that, blah blah blah, or whether you're going to regret that you didn't pursue that passion, or pursue that thing that you really wanted to do, or say that thing that you really believed in, or wear that outfit that makes you so happy, or did that thing to your hair you've always wanted to do. What is more likely? I think you probably know the answer. So this is why this week I've done a couple shoots, and I'm reaching out to other people and asking them if I can shoot. I'm telling them that, you know, I don't have the best equipment, I'm very much a novice, but I just love to practice. And I think by saying that, that's made me feel a little bit better, a little bit less scared, because the expectation isn't high, and I can just enjoy the process, you know, build up a portfolio in the process, and I'm pursuing something that I really enjoy and that makes me happy. And I think in the long run, that's gonna leave me feeling a lot more fulfilled and a lot more excited about life. So yeah, that's my thought for the day. Let me know if there's a passion or something you've wanted to do, or a person you wanted to be, or the person you think you're meant to be, that you don't feel you've quite reached or achieved because you're being held back by what other people think, or what you're worrying that other people will think about it. Let me know in the comments below, and let's try and encourage all of us to do these things and to bite the bullet and to just go for it, because life is bloody short, trust me, and we need to try and do things that make us happy. Yeah. And Layla, totally agree with all you're saying, and you've helped me get into my groove as well. So come on, let's help each other, guys, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.